Ladies and gentlemen, this is Legs. Welcome back. I'm not going to belabor this. We're just going to dive in today. This is your favorite running podcast that you haven't heard yet, obviously. So, without further ado, we're just going to be talking to Keith Mitchhart today. Keith Mitchhart has so much good shit to say, and I think that everyone can benefit from listening to this one in a different way. From spirituality and running to meditation to understanding that we're doing this to ourselves. There's so much in here that I think just needs to be said, especially now in running when things just seem to be so all over the place. And I don't know, just the proof that needs to be thrown around is mind-boggling. Keith takes us back to a simpler time, I think, for running, and reminds us why we're doing this in the first place. So, without further ado, Conversational Pace. Keith Mitchhart, the one and only. Enjoy. Okay, welcome back to Legs. This is a Conversational Pace. I am super stoked personally about this episode. I'm always stoked about these episodes, but this one is near and dear because today we have Keith Mitchhart, who, if anyone's been keeping up with the Legs Instagram recently or the Speed Project or maybe some recent currently running photos, you might have seen this individual spattered across those pages. But one of the truest dudes that I've had the honor of sharing 40 hours in a Kia Sportage with. Kia, maybe it was a Sportage, I don't know. Getting it stuck on the side of a mountain, but whatever. This is Keith. Keith and I ran Speed Project together. And today we are going to be sitting down with him to chat through his running journey, where he is at currently, how he got here, what makes him tick, all the good shit that you've come to love and know about Legs Conversational Paces. So without further ado, Keith, what's up, man? How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Thank
All
you.
right. I'm going to start by just kind of like throwing the mic to you. I know I gave a little bit of a extended intro there, but why don't you just give us, a short bio on yourself, where you're located, where you're from, and all that, and we'll just start there.
Sounds good. Um, so currently located out in West Texas in the desert near Marfa area. Um, just out here kind of having a walkabout in a way, running the desert trails and doing a little soul searching. Um, Grew up in Austin, Texas. Have been fortunate enough to travel around quite a bit and get to run in some really cool places. Kind of started my running journey when I was living out of my van in Southern California a few years back. Um, Ran a half marathon with a run club out there, and it was the farthest I'd ever ran. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to finish it going into it. And went out, had a blast, just running that little half marathon up and down the coast on the boardwalk near Venice. And yeah, just kind of fell in love with that feeling and haven't turned back since.
Nice. What year was that?
Shoot. It's somewhere around like 2022, 2023, probably 2022, like August sometime 2022, I think. I
Nice.
feel like my brain is mush and I have no concept of time after COVID. Like it's just like I can't tell if it was 5 years ago, 3 years ago, but I think 2022 is accurate.
Quite a, I mean, given what I know about you right now and everything that you've accomplished in your running journey, that's a short amount of time between like the first half marathon to where you are now and doing Speed Project, all those kind of cool projects. That's great. We'll get into that in a second. I want to get into the motivation and a little bit more about that journey. But first, I'd like to just ask if someone were to describe you in one sentence, what would it be?
Mm,
Or one word?
that's a good question. I don't know. Definitely like a tad bit psychotic. Yeah, just like goofy, a bit of a psycho. Like, yeah, I feel like that kind of sums it
Cool.
up.
I like it.
Like, I don't take myself too seriously, but at the same time, I'm just a bit of psychopath, and I love the things that I love, and like, yeah, just go at them full force.
Nice. Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
intensity though. Yeah, I like that. What's your personal mission?
I think personal mission revolves a lot around just creating a beautiful life for myself, um, not compromising on any of my core beliefs to make anyone else happy or to follow the societal rules of what life should look like. And in the process of that, just make an impact, a positive impact in as many people's lives as possible. Uh, Not trying to have a negative impact.
All right, I like
Just
that
want
a
to be
lot.
clear about that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I appreciate the clarity and transparency there. Uh, okay, thank you. Good opening. I want to shift again to sort of that first half marathon and some inspiration behind why you did it. So, why do you run? What was the straw that broke the camel's back for you to say, all right, I'm going to get out here and do this half, or what was it about it that made you want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first half it was like um, I had just kind of dropped everything I was doing, moved into my van, drove out to California and met up with some friends out there in the LA area, uh, who were also doing van life at the time. We went to a social run with a run club and did like 4 miles, got drinks afterwards, that whole little social gig. And I mean, back in 2022, it was like I wasn't super familiar with run clubs. Like they weren't as prominent as they were now. So I was just like, oh, dude, this is sick. Like all these people are cool, grab drinks afterwards, socialize. Like it was, had a really fun time, good conversations with people. And a few of them were just like, oh, yeah, we're doing our long run this Saturday on the boardwalk. You should definitely come out. I was like, well, what is long? Like what? Like we're doing a half marathon. And I was like, shit, I don't even think I could do that right now, but y'all are cool. I want to hang out with you. I'll give it a shot. So me and my friends who I was out there with, we all decided to do the full half that day, and definitely knew it was going to be like a big push at that point in my running journey. Didn't really know what to expect, but ended up having a great time. Felt relatively good through the whole thing. Really enjoyed it. Like just shared a lot of laughs along the way, and um, yeah, just ended up coming out of it with that like unexplainable high that comes from like achieving something that you weren't sure if you were going to be able to finish or how it would go. And yeah, that kind of just like solidified the love for the act of running. And then, of course, me being a bit psychotic and someone who can run my mouth and get myself into trouble, I immediately am back at the run club the next week, running my mouth about how, like, yeah, I think I'm going to do an ultra here pretty soon, looking at like a 50K or something like that. Like, no experience, not knowing shit what I'm talking about. But just me being me, I'm like, yeah, I'll do an ultra marathon. Fuck it. How hard could it be?
Right.
And so I'm walking around running my mouth, and one of my buddies, Michael, he's like, well, there's this race called the Speed Project. It's an ultra relay that runs from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. I'm putting a team together. It's invite only, so we still have to like apply. I'm not sure if we'll get in, but if we get in, would you want to be on the team? And still, I'm just like, oh, that sounds sick. Count me in. Like, no doubt I'm there. Um, and then kind of just put it out of my mind because wasn't sure if we were even getting in at that point. And then, of course, 2 weeks later, he hits me up and he's like, yo, we're in. We've got a team. Uh, like, here's who's all on our team. So I go and I'm looking at everyone's Instagram, and they're like, got people running like sub 3 marathons. We've got people who are on like their 5th marathon. We've got all kinds of really talented runners. And me just literally haven't done my first half marathon ever, and nothing over 7 miles after that.
Hmm.
Was like, oh shit, I need to start like I can't, like I gotta pull my weight in this, like I gotta start actually training for this. Um, and so at that point, I was living in my van in San Diego and just like started taking it really seriously, started running every single day and then twice a day and stretching it farther. And then was like, okay, I'll do a half marathon all by myself. And I did that. And then was like, okay, I'll do a half marathon a week. And then slowly that snowball started to roll. And then got to the point where I was actually like a pretty talented runner after a few months of hard work. And just running up and down the boardwalk there in Pacific Beach in San Diego. Yeah, got to feel pretty confident. Ended up leaving California, going to spend some time with my mom in Colorado. And during that time, I had um, reached out to a friend who had done some work with this organization called Ainsley's Angels in the past. It's a nonprofit that pairs disabled runners with able-bodied runners to be able to do marathons, Spartan races, triathlons, whatever. But it was a really cool organization. And my friend had run a marathon pushing, who is now one of my good friends, Sebastian, who has cerebral palsy, through the whole Austin Marathon in his wheelchair. And I was like, damn, like it doesn't get more badass than that. Like that's so cool. So I'd reached out to him and just hit him up and was like, hey, I've been running a lot recently. I know you work with Ainsley's Angels. Like if I could ever get involved in any way, would love to, let me know. And he was like, well, I'm actually pushing Sebastian in the Houston Marathon in 2 weeks. Would you want to partner up with me? I was like, sure, like let's do it. Like absolutely. So jumped into running my first marathon now, just a few months after that first half, and doing it with Ainsley's Angels, which I was super stoked about. Me and him were going to take turns pushing the wheelchair and kind of partner through the whole experience. And then he hits me up like 5 days later and is like, yo, I think I tore my calf.
Shit.
Are you able are you able to do this solo? And I was like, fuck, I guess we'll find out. And so kind of made my way down to Texas, went out to Houston and met Sebastian, met his mom, and was like, they were super stoked about it. They were really excited that like it worked out, that like even though Nick had gotten injured, still had a runner that was able to step up kind of last minute. So I'm like sharing the stoke with them, but also in the back of my mind, like, fuck, I hope I can do this. I don't want to let them down.
Right.
And then, yeah, next morning, woke up, did the marathon. We ran like a 350 something, was one of the hardest things I had done up until that point. Uh, but finished, and it was just this incredible experience of getting to spend that time with Sebastian, getting to talk with him throughout the race, share that experience with him. And like, we get to the finish line, adrenaline's pumping, come running in. His mom's sitting there, she's tearing up, I'm tearing up. Like it was just a really beautiful moment that was like, wow, like this really is so much bigger than just like the act of running. Like it
Yeah.
goes so much deeper than that. And that just like really kind of solidified the flame that I felt towards the sport. Yeah. And then from there, we ran into some issues and my team wasn't able to do that first speed project, which for me was like big, just like slap in the face. I was like, dude, I just put in like 6 months of like working my ass off to be ready for this race, driven out to California, back out to California. It spent like a month there preparing. And then kind of last minute, it fell apart. So ended up, I was in LA at the time, ended up going to San Diego just to kind of like relax for a bit and kind of process that form of loss, basically, not being able to go out and do the experience that I'd been looking forward to for months. And ended up spending about a week in San Diego, just surfing and taking a whole bunch of mushrooms, kind of figuring out what the next step in running and what the relationship would look like with it from then on out. And after about a week in San Diego, doing a little soul searching, called up some of my friends back in Austin and was like, yo, like, I'm really bummed. I feel like I put all this work into like going out and showing myself what I can do and didn't get to have that experience. Like, I want to do an ultra marathon. I feel like I can at least run 100K, 62 miles. Like, would you be down to help me do that? They're like, absolutely. Like, we're here for you, whatever. So left San Diego, drove back to Austin, was sitting outside of Barton Springs on a rainy morning in my van, smoking weed, drinking coffee with one of my friends. And we basically came up with the idea of let's just do a DIY 100K. Like, we don't need to find a race. Like, none of that matters. Like, we don't need a real race. The purpose is like me versus this distance and showing myself that I can do it. So we mapped it all out, picked a start line, picked an end line 62 miles away, and I was like, all right, next Saturday, load up the van, get a few other people, and we'll go out and we'll crew and run this 100K, which I was wildly unprepared for in any knowledge I had of this of the sport of running and endurance. I was just basically smoking joints and eating oranges until mile 38, where I just like hit the wall, completely bonked, and like was like laying outside of the van, like shivering in a 90-degree day for like 30 minutes. Thinking like, damn, how the fuck am I gonna finish this thing out? Like, this is crazy, this is scary, like, I don't know what we're doing out here. Ended up like getting the nervous system calmed down, got the body back to being somewhat okay, and then was able to keep marching on, and ended up finishing that little 100K that we had laid out for ourselves in like 22 hours, which is way too long for 100K, but it was still that, like, I did it. Like, I did what I came out here to do today.
Yeah. It was you versus the distance, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was still like ultra stoked on that. Just like couldn't really believe that I was able to do it. And that kind of snowballed into like, well, that was a really cool thing that I got to do with my friends. Why don't we turn this into like a little 3-part series? Let's do 2 more of these throughout this summer, find a cool spot, lay down a route, and just go out and do it for the sake of doing it. Like, no medal, no crowd, just like the experience, and sharing that with my closest friends. So we ended up, we planned another one a few months later out here in Terlingua, which is West Texas desert, very hot in the middle of July, as we came to find out, and ended up doing another 100K there from Terlingua to Presidio along River Road, which runs like parallel to the Texas-Mexico border and the Rio Grande. And again, it was another, like, got a group of friends together, drove the van out, slept in a tent the night before, woke up at like 2 a.m, got dressed, and then went out on this adventure. 18 hours later, sat down on a random sidewalk in Presidio, 62 miles down the road. And I was like, fuck yeah, we did it again. Like, that was sick. van is reeking of pickle juice and throw up and sweat and BO at that point, but like we did it.
Right.
and and then the last one we did that summer came out to Marfa where I'm currently at, and there's a road out here, Pinto Canyon Road, that's more commonly known as the Road to Nowhere.
Right.
Because it's this long stretch of road that just kind of dies off into Pinto Canyon. And it's like, it is the road to nowhere. And I was like, I love that name. The area is beautiful. Like, let's do it. And so, again, just loaded up the van, fresh group of people, came out, did the damn thing, finished that in like 16 hours.
Wow.
So it was like, from that first one, 3 months back to this one, like 6 hours of difference just from learning and growing and knowing what to expect and how to fuel properly and all of
Mhm.
that. And so it was just like this, and the title of the project was called Just Fucking Run, because that was all it was. It
Right.
was like, take away any sort of bullshit and just fucking run. Like,
Yeah.
no matter what it looks like, how far you're going,
Hmm.
just do it. And like, have that experience for yourself, because that's all that matters.
Right.
Like, all the Instagram, all this, like, it is pointless compared to the actual experience that you get to have running those distances and sharing that with your friends who are sacrificing their time, their money to come out and help you pursue this goal. And
Yeah.
that was like what I thought was the coolest part of that project. And like, I've got friends who are at every single one. Like, we still run together. A few of those friends are crewing me in this upcoming 100-mile race, which
Yeah.
is super sick. And then we had people who, like, didn't really know them that well, but they jumped in the van, came out and helped me do this. And now it's like, we've been friends ever since. It's like a lifelong bond that you share,
Yeah.
similar to like us with Speed Project. It's like, we had never met each other, shared this experience, and now it's like, dude, we're friends forever.
Yeah.
Like, there's,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and so that's cool. And like, one of the most special parts about running and like the world of running that I think is, it's like literally like, you just share a few hours with somebody and you're just bonded for life.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many other scenarios in our current day where that is the case.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's a journey, man. Thanks for sharing all that. That's great. There's so much in there that I want to dissect. I want to start hold on. Okay, that was good. Um, I want to start with like, back when you were running that first half, once you got over that sort of initial maybe like intimidation factor, or kind of like, when you said that you looked at all the people that you were going to be running with for the speed project initially, that were, these sub 3 marathoners. Um, I feel like a lot of people in that situation would get intimidated or scared and just kind of like drop out or shy away. So how did you, like, what was going through your head when you were seeing all that, when you were seeing that you were going to be paired with these runners that had a lot more experience, that sort of quote unquote knew what they were doing, and you were coming into it with fresh eyes and a kind of like a newbie status almost?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it was mainly like I want to have this experience. I want to make myself worthy of getting to share this experience with people. Like, they've put in a ton of work to get to where they're at. I don't want to let them down. And it was like, I was definitely intimidated by like just the fact that they had obviously been doing it much longer than I had at that point, and I had no real idea what to expect. But for me, it was more so like a catalyst for growth, as opposed to like allowing that to make me fearful and not want to pursue that experience.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That makes sense. What do you think then the benefits are? So, one of the things I like to talk about a little bit, or at least like I've been thinking about more, is the difference between sort of like running is more than just a fitness activity. Because I mean, during COVID, like there was the rise of this like Renaissance runner, and a lot of people were just stuck at home we were all gaining weight of some sort because we just didn't have anything to do. Gyms were closed, all that. So I think that there is this fitness side of it. But, from what you sort of extrapolated on here with like this like larger connection piece, like what do you think the benefits are of approaching it in that way versus just sort of like the fitness aspect of it? Like, I guess what I'm getting to is how does it connect you to something larger? Like what do you think the benefits of that are?
Yeah. I mean, I think at the time before I moved into my van, I was reading a lot of like Eastern philosophy, playing around with meditation and breath work and all of that. And so when I started running, I was already familiar with those like characteristics of it, and looked at it as like a form of like physical meditation. Because I was never good at like sitting on a mat. Like I have tight fucking hips and my back hurts and all of that. So sitting in a lotus pose for 45 minutes and breathing is not going to work for me.
Yeah.
Um, but going out on a run when it's hot as shit and you're just feeling all the sweat leave your body and focusing on your breathing and your legs hurt, but you continue to move, like kind of like immediately made that connection of like, oh, this is how I can reach those levels that other people can reach with meditation practices and breath work. Like this allows me to unlock that same concept without doing it in a way that wasn't really working for me.
Mhm.
I think like having the knowledge of those practices before getting into the running side of things allowed me to like identify those properties of running maybe quicker than some people might.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I think I've always kind of leaned into like being a bit more on the spiritual side of things, looking for the greater purpose and the bigger meaning behind things. Like, because that's a lot of what life is. It's like, it's the action, but what does it mean? It's the words, but what do the words mean? Yeah, so I feel like I was kind of already oriented to look towards that side of things when
Mhm.
by the time I got into running. And then running just kind of unlocked all of that even more so for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. One thing I noticed, like that came through very clear when we were sharing miles out there in the French Alps was you've got a very unique style, I think, and you run how you want to run, right? I think that there's something to be said about that, especially in the age where everyone's a goddamn influencer now, and there's this like intrinsic almost pressure to run like everyone else. So I think like in this day and age where there's so much content, there's so much advice, I wonder how you apply that sort of spiritual approach and sort of doing things your own way. Like how do you resist all of that and how do you kind of continue to make running your thing versus doing it for someone else?
Yeah, good question. I I wrote down a quote a while back, after I had just gone through my first and only DNF and was like just super down on the fact that I had to quit mid race, in something that was an achievement I really wanted to have for myself. But the quote was, I don't run to prove to you who I am. I run to prove to myself who I'm not. And I think that kind of mindset of just like at the end of the day, like I do this for myself. Like whatever opportunities that it may unlock or connections it brings me, like those are all cool and I'm grateful for those. But at the end of the day, it's like I know that for me, this is something that is allowing me to move closer to unlocking my potential as a human and becoming the person that I want to be. Like
Hmm.
that's like at the core of it for me. Like I didn't get into it to work with brands or gain a following or whatever. Like I got into it because I saw the values that it had for me in life outside of running. So just kind of like keeping that in mind and keeping that as like the focus, even when like, I have gotten opportunities to work with really cool brands and do some cool stuff and meet really awesome people, which I love and I'm grateful for. But like when all of that is gone, or when you're back from the trip, or just back by yourself in the desert that I find myself in, it's like, all right, like that's all gone.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing it for? Is it for you or for that?
Yeah.
Because if it's for you, you wake up the next day and you lace up the shoes and you go on the run. If not, you just lay in bed and chill because nobody's around to see it.
Because no one's watching. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. And so I feel like I'm much more in love with like the practice and the process of running than any sort of accolades or whatever it may bring. Um, Also, just like athlete over influencer every day of the week. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather be a well respected athlete in person than someone that is got a big following and people want to collab with. Like, like especially coming from the Austin running scene, like the Austin running scene has been around for so long. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a rich, deep community. There are some people there who are doing amazing things and have been there for decades.
Yeah.
And then you have this new rise of the influencer run group and whatever. Austin's become this like hot for influencers in the recent years. Um, and so when I was still living in Austin, like my metrics were like, okay, like I have respect from the people who respect me in this, or I have respect from the people who I respect the most in this running community here. That's what I care about.
Okay.
Everything else is kind of whatever. Like it wasn't as important to me. I was like,
Yeah.
these are the people who are doing real shit and have been doing real shit and who I hold in great regards as far as running goes. And I know that they see me in that same light. I'm cool with that. Like,
Perfect. Yeah.
if nothing else comes from it, you know, like you have respect from the people that you respect. And I think that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I like that a lot. Um, yeah, it's your right. It's your self-expression. It's whatever it means to you. I think that's like what matters to you is what matters, right? Like I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. What would you say? I mean, we've touched on this before, but like just sort of like summing this up, what would you say is like the most you thing about the way you run?
I think the fact that like I'll wake up on a random Thursday morning and drop a 36-mile run with nobody watching and nobody supporting me. It's just like that's what I wanted to do that day and felt called to do. So I went out and did it. Like it's just like, I don't need to make a whole vlog out of it. I don't have to, like, it's just like you go, you do the run, you're fucking stoked because you did it.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's all that matters. And just like that attitude towards running. Like I don't need to do my long runs with the group.
Right.
I don't need to listen to music while I'm doing it. I go out there, I listen to my feet hitting the pavement, and that's enough for me.
I like it. Perfect. Um, okay, on that, I'm gonna wrap this like running section up real quick. But if we were to sort of be a fly on the wall or follow you with like a quiet drone or something like that, and we were just gonna follow you on a daily run, like one of your normal runs, what are we seeing?
Um, Typically, like I'm like a midday runner.
Okay.
Like I can wake up early for runs, but also like I'd rather not.
Mm,
Um, and like, so you'd see me wake up in the morning, have a slow kind of bullshit morning, make my coffee in the French press, drink it, read a book a little bit, scroll Instagram, fucking let my dog out, fuck around for a few hours, and then finally be like, all right, it's time to lace up. And then yeah, lace up, fill the waters up, um, you know, being out here in the desert, it's like I'm always carrying some sort of water on me just in
Sure.
case. Even if I don't touch it, I want to have it because
Yeah.
it it is hot, it's super dry, and I'm at elevation. So depending on the day, you never know what could happen. So fill the water up, load the belt up, and then for a longer run, I'm driving out to the observatory, which is it's basically a 16-mile out and back with 2,500 feet of elevation, and it's 8 miles up, 8 miles down.
Jesus.
So it's just a miserable run that I love so much for the fact that it is miserable and I hate it.
Hmm.
Um, but it feels so good when you're done.
Absolutely.
Um, or, just stepping out the front door, um, making my way through town a little bit, and then illegally jumping the fence into the state park and hitting those trails because I'm not paying $6 a day to run these fucking trails.
Right. Yeah.
And then come back, snag a sandwich at the local deli from Miss B, shoot the shit with the guy at the counter for a second, and then probably shower, take a nap for a little bit, and continue on.
I love it.
Yeah,
What's the sandwich order?
it changes. Love chicken salad, love beef pastrami. They do a banging Reuben over there with some
Sweet.
sauerkraut and shit. So
You were like
rotate between those three.
you were like Mr. Sandwich on our trip, so I just
Dude,
wanted to make sure.
big, big sandwich
Big
guy.
sandwich guy. I love that. Okay. Last one. I got one more about this because you not wanting to pay, you banditing state parks, I think is really a funny thing. But if you were able to reinvent sort of one thing about running, like from the start, what would it be?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's like I think that comes back to like everyone does it for different reasons, and
Yeah.
it's all valid. Um, but
It doesn't have to be anything. I think
I don't know if I have an answer for that.
that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, we can edit that out too if we want, or we can leave it in as an honest. Okay, we don't have to like we're not gonna like necessarily like give anyone props here, but like I want to get into a little bit of like running gear. So what's one piece of gear that you can't live without?
I do love my Satisfy running belt. It's like the shit. It fits me perfectly. I can carry like I think a liter and a half of water with my phone and some gels and like be totally comfortable, which I think is pretty sick. I mean, throw poles in there too if I want to. So like, it's a good piece of equipment. It's $200, but it's a good piece of
That's
equipment. I think I've gotten my $200 out of it.
yeah, that's an investment at that point, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you were wearing, right? On the trip, the thing was rad. What does your go-to kit look like? What are you wearing?
Um, Typically I'm big Satisfy guy. I love their gear. Um, so I love their Spaso, their 2.5 inch shorts. If I'm wearing a shirt, it's usually cropped. Love the crop tops. Got my
Yep.
belt on for anything over 6 miles. And a big sunglass nerd too. Way too many pairs of Oakleys. That I love to rotate through, and like I love the fashion side of running as well. I think I've always like even like growing up playing sports, football, whatever, it's like you got to have the gear. Like you
Mm-hmm.
got to look clean, you know. It's not always what you do, but what you look like doing it,
Yeah,
which is dumb and whatever, but it's true. Like, you want to look cool while you're doing the shit you like doing, or at
sure.
least I do. So I like mixing it up. Sometimes some old vintage shirts that I've found, crop top, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Why what is the appeal about like the fashion side for you? That's a good call out.
I mean, I think I'm into fashion in general. Like I
Okay.
love clothes. Even as like a young kid who was like grew up skateboarding, seeing what all my favorite skateboarders were wearing, emulating those styles, and like just like being aware of like why you like certain things. And yeah, just style was always a big thing in skateboarding. And me growing up in like a small suburban town in Texas, often got shit talked for wearing outlandish clothes that my favorite skaters were wearing when everyone else was, buzz cut and some Nike shorts. I was long hair, some ripped up skinny jeans, and some big chunky Supras or whatever, um, wearing whatever skate brand t-shirt I thought was cool that week.
Yeah,
And just like getting just shit talked at school for it from a young age, but
of course.
always like being like, man, whatever, you don't know, this shit's cool.
Yeah,
Like I know
exactly.
more than you do. And that started at a young age where I was just like had like a very independent style. Like I remember saw one of my favorite skaters wearing some purple skinny jeans one day. I was like, Mom, I gotta get some purple skinny jeans.
Yeah,
Wore those purple skinny jeans to school and spent 8 hours just getting ripped apart by
of
every
course.
single
Yeah.
kid I went to school with. Um, Came home, threw the purple skinny jeans away because I was like, fuck that, dude. That was brutal. Um, and yeah, but ever since then, it's been like just a part of who I am. And then like start playing football, you're like, I want these cleats because these are sick.
Yeah.
Wear these gloves, this and that. And it starts out, you're just kind of emulating your idols in these sports or
Hmm.
whatever. And then that kind of just grows and snowballs into like actually having a independent style from the people you grow up with. And
Sure.
yeah, just kind of rolling with that. And like, I feel like my style outside of running is very like carefully curated and aligns with who I am. And then, yeah, it just translates into running. Like, I want to wear the things that I enjoy wearing and, you know, piece together different outfits that I think are cool just because I think they're cool. And
Yeah.
I'd rather wear that while running than not.
Sure. Yeah, I think we're in a really great time for that sort of self-expression and rebellion or unique sort of just aspect of running. So that's cool. Um, I the purple jeans was I just feel like that was a Baker thing. Was it a Baker skater? Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was flipping through one of those old CCS catalogs
sure.
and like saw it and I was like, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
I definitely like I'm about to be the coolest kid at school with these purple skinny jeans and then just got thrashed.
Oh man.
I was so sad, dude. That was a thing where like when I was in high school, people were still bringing up when I wore purple skinny jeans, and I was like, dude, fuck you. They were cool, man.
Wow. Jeez, you really made an impression. But I guess that's cool. I mean, that was the point, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Had the intended effect, I guess.
Oh man. I had this pair of like seafoam green, what was it, like Kill City denim, I think, from back in the day. Like, oh, they were the tightest jeans. And I like wish I would have kept them now because now it'd be cool again. But like at the time, it's just, yeah, I was getting
Yeah,
ripped apart. And like old hookup shirts, like with like the anime with like you could see their underwear. I remember getting so much shit in high school from the teachers for that one. But that was part of it.
yeah.
It was great.
Oh yeah. I mean, the more that you could piss off the authority figures by what you were wearing,
Yeah.
the better.
The better
Yeah.
that you were
I
doing it
remember
right. Yeah.
I had a teacher lose it on me one day in elementary school because I had my hat turned to the side
Oh yeah.
again, because that's what I saw my favorite skaters doing and
Right.
thought that was cool. Did it, and she's like, "You look like you're in a gang," and I was like, "What the fuck is a gang, bro?" Like I'm 7.
I mean, they start them young. What can you say?
Yeah, but I mean, it's also like growing up in like a in the South in like a suburban style school. It's like, yeah, these teachers are holding those morals
Yeah,
near and dear.
definitely,
Um,
definitely. Um, all right. Shifting back to running gear for a second. Um, what are your go-to shoes for road runs?
I love Adidas. Um, like the Evo SLs, the Audios, whatever. I like Adidas. I think they look nice. They're very simple. They're clean, and they feel really good for road runs, both
Hmm.
the non-plated and the plateds. I do have some Alpha Flies that I like to wear for like speed workouts, which I rarely do and hate more than anything, and for marathons and whatever. But yeah, typically those just, a combination of like feels good, faster shoes, but also looks clean and
Hmm.
it's nothing too crazy.
What about trail?
Trail, I've been loving the Norda 005s. Got a pair of those like a few months back and just I think they're some of the best trail shoes I've ever worn. The Nike Ultra Flies, they're like plated trail shoe, I think are great too. Yeah, but big fan of Norda. The Nikes are great. Yeah, that's kind of all I wear for trail right now.
Cool. Nice. Okay, I was just thinking too about you smoking all those joints and then eating all those oranges, which I'm so shocked that you bonked with doing that. Um, what was that? I like to know like what a quote or something that you can repeat to yourself or tell yourself mid-run when shit's getting real. Like for that situation, calming your nervous system down. How did you find your headspace again? How did you get back into it? Like what do you do to get over the hump when you're feeling down mid-run?
Yeah. I mean, for that situation specifically, I had a really good group of people around me. Um, they were able to like take the necessary steps to get me back to normal when I wasn't able to. So like definitely like the people you surround yourself with in life, in running, whatever, always going to be super important. And just like, blessed to have great friends and people who love you and take care of you in those shitty moments in
Mhm.
running and in life. Um, and then like more generally speaking, you kind of just like have to laugh at it because it is a stupid thing. Like there's no reason why you have to be out there. Like, and uh, there was a TikToker I found like sometime last year who just big older dude, big into working out, who just happened to be named Keith. And he all of his videos would be him in the mirror videotaping himself like, you put yourself here, Keith. You wanted this, Keith. And so I'll repeat that to myself when
Oh,
I'm on these city runs because it's just like, yeah, as goofy as it is, like you put yourself here, you
yeah,
wanted this. So like don't be shy about it. Like don't back out of it because there's nobody that puts you there but yourself.
right.
And it's like one, it kind of makes me chuckle, which helps like get me out of that like pain cave mentality. Two, it's like pretty legit. Like it's just like, yeah, I don't have to be out here. I chose to be out here, so I might as well do what I'm choosing to do. Like
Hmm.
it's not like I'm back in gym class running a mile where someone else is making me do it. Like I chose to get out of bed and do this today. So
Yeah,
like do it. Be a man
right.
of your word and keep that promise that you had for yourself. So yeah, like just the reminder of like this is stupid. You don't have to do this, but you chose to do this.
Right.
So you might as well finish it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
What do you
I always go
go?
ahead.
No, no, please.
I always say like running is inherently a stupid sport. Like we pick a spot on a map, we run to it, we run back just to have traveled nowhere. Yet, like in that time, we accomplish a lot, like mentally, physically, spiritually. But it's like, yeah, like I get people all the time who are like, wow, I could never do what you do. Like, that's crazy. Like, I've never been able to run. I'm like, that's cool, bro.
Yeah.
Go do what you enjoy,
Yeah.
like go drum, go
Right.
play the guitar. Like, there's way more productive ways you could spend your time than running.
Hmm. Yeah.
I just happen to love running. Like, it
Sure.
doesn't make it any more valid than anything else that people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was in the deli the other day talking to one of the guys that works there, and he's like, man, I can't imagine. Like, I can barely run a mile. I'm like, but he plays the drums really well. I'm like, well, dude, I can't play the drums. So like,
Yeah.
we both have our things.
Right.
They're both valid. They're both cool. Like, it doesn't have to be this like crazy thing that puts you on a pedestal or some stupid shit like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
this is what I like to do. This is what I choose, how I choose to spend my time. And anyone who doesn't like that or choose to spend their time doing that is just as valid, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's a really, really poetic way to say that. And it's something we often forget. I feel like we get in our own heads about the self-importance of what we're doing, trying to, because there is something to be said about bringing people into the fold, right? Like you said, there's the community building aspect of this. There's being surrounded by people that you love and that you want in your corner. But just because they don't want to be there doesn't make whatever else they want to do less valid, right? Like it's just
yeah.
they've got their
Well,
own
and
thing.
running's not the only way to access that deep sense of community and like
Sure.
bond with people. Like, you see it in skating, you see it in surfing, you see
Right.
it in every other sport, you see it amongst like the band culture, every single hobby and niche activity has that to it. So
Yeah.
it's like, if you find that through, like, if you're friends with a bunch of sick painters and you're all artists and you meet up and you talk about art, like, that's cool as shit too. Like, it
Hmm.
just, whatever works for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. You mentioned too about like when you're getting ready to go for a run, it's like you can busy yourself with a million other things, playing with the dog, getting things ready. How do you convince yourself to go, to get out the door, to lace up when you just really don't want to?
It's just like, dude, if you do make the decision to not go, you're going to feel like shit in a few hours. So you might as well feel like shit now and
Mm.
feel better about yourself in a
Yeah.
few hours. Like, yeah. And I mean, I'll still have days where I'm just like, yep, not doing it today. Like,
Yeah.
and then I lay in bed and then it's like 4 o'clock rolls around. I'm just like, I feel like shit.
Yeah. I could have
Like,
done
I
it.
can't, yeah, like, I can't wait to run tomorrow to get this
Right.
feeling off of me. And then you try to remember that going into the next time you feel like shit, and then you forget. And, you know, it's like just that constant battle of like human nature versus what you actually want. Like,
Yeah.
we're kind of designed to seek and be lazy and like conserve energy and whatnot. And so, like, forcing yourself to go the opposite of that is difficult, and it's a daily battle. And like, the more you do it, the easier it gets. But yeah, like, I also try not to be too hard on myself. Like, I know
Yeah.
where I'm at mentally, I know who I am pretty in depth. So like, if I don't feel like doing it that day, I just won't go get a coffee and fucking chill.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I
Yeah.
think there's that as runners, I feel like there is this I don't know what it is, but when you start running, it's those like moments when you do take time off. I mean, obviously like playing the tape forward about how shitty you'll feel if you don't run, but then there's the like converse or conversely, there's like the if you're feeling like a little bit of pain or something like that, you know it's good to take off because that pain could turn into something that could put you off for 6 months too. So there is that fine line of listening to your body and just kind of like understanding what you need. So I think that's I don't know, it's such a unique little thing that runners have. Um
Yeah.
what would you who would you like to thank for where you are in your journey today? I want to like leave a little time for shout outs here and a couple what's next questions.
Dude, baby Jesus, adolescence Jesus.
Big baby Jesus,
Yeah, all the Jesuses.
all the Jesuses.
Uh, God too. Nah.
No.
Anyways, definitely. I mean, my friend Keaton, my friend Tyler, they've been with me pretty much every step of the way um, through this running journey and all the highs and the lows. My buddy Mark, who I'm going to be helping pace through his first ultra this weekend, which I'm stoked on.
Nice.
Mark's the dude that like won't run for 6 months, and then you're like, "Yo, we're doing 20 on Saturday. Are you in?" And he's just like, "I'm there."
Nice.
And he'll bonk at mile 10 and just thug it out through the last 10 miles. He'll come in with like a bloody knee, like a nosebleed, and you're just like, "You good?" He's like, "Oh, dude, that was sick." So I'm super excited to run that race with him. And he's crewed me through a number of ultras and always been there to support. So definitely Mark. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everyone that I've had the opportunity to share this experience with. But yeah, those three specifically for sure. Gordon, of course. Gordon Clark. He's like my OG in the running game.
Yeah.
Put me on to so much shit in this niche little world that we exist in. So yeah, shout out to Gordon. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's a long list, but I like keeping it short like that. What else is coming up? What else do you want to promote? What's on your radar? I know that you've got a pretty big race coming up that you've been training for. So tell us about what's on your calendar.
Yeah. So this upcoming weekend, I've got a 50K crewing and, well, running the 50K, but running it with my buddy Mark to kind of get him through his first ultra, which I'm stoked on. That'll kind of be like my last shakeout run before Saddles 100 the following weekend. Went out to do this race last year. It's my first and only DNF. So definitely looking to come back and kind of, regain that, get that back
Sure.
here in a couple of weekends. Yeah, it feels like I've been training for this race for like a year straight. Like it was literally like the Happy Gilmore where it's like only 364 days until next year's Saddles 100. So super stoked to just like go out, do the damn thing, hopefully perform well and, get that fucking belt buckle. And then a couple weekends after that, I'll be up in DC doing the Marine Corps Marathon with my buddy Sebastian, pushing him through that. It'll be our
Nice.
fourth marathon together. And I'm just like beyond excited for that because get to travel with him a little bit, spend some time with him and his mom. And it's just always a beautiful experience.
Lovely.
And then that'll be my last race of the year. And I'm going to kind of take a break from races for a bit just to kind of chill, focus on some other aspects of life.
Sure.
Yeah, I always make the joke of like, damn, imagine if I put this much effort and time into like a real career. Imagine where that would take me.
Yep.
I'd be miserable and unhappy, but have a little more money in the bank account.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
And then I'd just blow it on fucking races again.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That means it's a sick cycle.
Yeah.
All right. Any parting shots for the legs community? Advice, send offs, anything?
Don't take it too seriously. Fucking, it is what it is. It'll always be there. Yeah.
I love it. Cool. Keith, thank you so much, buddy.
Dude,
This is
thank
really
you.
great. Yeah, I'm so stoked we got a chance to catch up and chat a little bit today. I think this was I think there's a lot of really cool things in here that people are going to take away. So I appreciate your time today, man.
Dude, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, and
Yeah.
good luck with the pacing and saddles and DC. It sounds like it's going to be saddles specifically. Sounds like it's going to be amazing, but all of it sounds like it's going to be great. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm stoked. It'll be a busy month.
yeah, definitely. But it sounds like you're going to have some well-earned time off. So stoked for that
Yeah.
too. You should get up to Portland too if you can.
See what I can do.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That was like the perfect level of non-committal. It was great.
Well, we're gonna have to replenish the bank account a little bit after
That's
this
true. Yeah.
next month.
All right. Sounds
But
good. Yeah.
but as soon as I get some funds and some time, would
Okay.
definitely love to come up to Portland.
Cool. Well, if you can get here, you don't need to spend much money when you're here. So that helps.
Cool.
Cool. All right, buddy. Well, thank you again, man. And good luck out there. We'll see you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Later, man.
Later.